Greetings, Force entities who populate our chairs, and students of the Force, and welcome back to our vast and expansive archives. I have been expecting you. A few weeks ago on the channel, I covered a video, rather short, covering what Darth Plagueis, the manipulator of the midichlorians and the master of one of the greatest Sith Lords to ever live in Darth Sidious, thought of his predecessor and the Sith Emperor Vitiate, also known as the Eternal Emperor as Valkorion, and to the reconstituted Sith Empire as merely the Sith Emperor. In that video, I covered what Plagueis' opinion on Vitiate would be based on the Darth Plagueis novel. Truly one of the greatest novels, not just in Star Wars, but in all of history, in my opinion. And I will state shortly in this video, Darth Plagueis would believe that he was a godlike embodiment of the dark side, that he would muse over his tremendous power. It is actually canonical in Legends material. In the Darth Plagueis novelization, that Darth Plagueis mused over the power Vitiate possessed, stating that he was the only one who had ever come close to the secret of immortality, and that he hoped to continue his grand work. But now, let's move on to two more infamous Sith. One of these Sith being the chosen one of the Sith in the Rule of Two founder, Darth Bane, one of the greatest lightsaber combatants in all of galactic history, and the greatest Sith Lord of all time, and the only one to accomplish the deed and the Sith's lifelong goal of decimating the Jedi Order and abolishing the Galactic Republic, ensuing the new Galactic Empire in Darth Sidious. What would Darth Bane have thought of Darth Sidious if he had been born in that era? All similarly to his time during his second novel of his trilogy, if he had been born during the reign of the Galactic Empire, perhaps through the world between worlds, what would Darth Bane have thought of Sith Emperor Sidious? Before we commence with this knowledge and uncover the more shrouded secrets of our holocrons, I would like to remind you that many of the entities that decide to immerse themselves in knowledge and use our databases to gain an edge over their opponents have not yet fulfilled their destiny by striking down the subscribe button. If you wish to ascend to the rank of master, use the Force to telekinetically manipulate the subscribe button and use your lightsaber to cut down the like button and the notification bell if you're enjoying the daily Star Wars content. With that out of the way, my friends, let's begin. Darth Bane mainly would have been disappointed and displeased with how his Rule of Two had come out if he would have seen Sidious. At first look, he would be proud, happy that his lineage established a millennia prior, that Sidious brought the grand plan, a millennia in the works of the Sith to fruition, and that he rules an empire that was secretly governed by the Sith with him and the fallen chosen one, Darth Vader. Bane would originally be proud and pleased with Sidious's efforts and immense dark side power, musing him very similar to what Plagueis thought of Vitiate, a godlike embodiment of the dark side itself, and a supreme entity of pure malevolent energy. He would also appreciate the fact that he was immensely powerful, and he was one of the strongest, if not the strongest Sith Lord to ever live, with the exception of possibly Nihilus and Valkorion. However, after a deeper dive and gaze into Sidious's way and order of running things, he would be displeased and unhappy. He would detest the treatment in which Sidious conducted his apprentices, with Darth Maul, the Sith assassin, being brutalized, at one point being forced to run through a maze, in his final trial kill multiple beings, including a Rancor, without his weapon, and after being starved for multiple days, he then proceeded to go into a bloodlust and nearly kill Sidious. Bane would detest and dissect the fact that Sidious would never truly teach his apprentice with the intent to replace him or supplant him, only to the deed of having them as a tool to be moved around, and then later discarded where their purpose was fulfilled, which was the point of the Rule of Two, to keep the Sith strong, with every generation of Sith intended to grow stronger than the last. Bane created the Rule of Two so that the fact when the Sith Master was ailing and weak, or possibly even in his prime as he intended, the Sith apprentice would rise up. Once the Sith apprentice was more powerful than the Master, they would no longer be equals. The Sith apprentice would challenge the Master, and whether the Sith Master would win would make him or her establish a new rule and take on a new apprentice. But if the apprentice won, then the Sith would carry on. They would take on a new apprentice and the cycle would continue, full well knowing that their apprentice would one day seek to betray them. Darth Bane's lineage was to keep the Sith strong and to continue the Empire into eternity. Sidious, however, failed to realise this and thought that he, in his all dark side knowledge and power, claiming in the secrets of Sith novelisation, which is canonically Star Wars, that he was the most powerful dark side perversion and abomination ever conducted by the Force itself. He failed to realise this point when he died. The Sith died with him. He was a narcissist. When he fell, the Sith fell with him, as he had never intended for Darth Vader to take over the Empire. Despite stating numerous times he had the Force potential to supplant Sidious all along, Vader was just too unsure and did not want to bet his life on the odds that he could defeat the Emperor. Bane would be appalled at this realization, for he cared about the Sith Order and the lineage he established and wanted to see them thrive as an open galactic powerhouse, very similar to how Sauron in The Lord of the Rings declares himself openly in Mordor prior to the events of the War of the Ring. Not Sidious's organisation, where the Sith ruled from the shadows. In Bane's mind, the Sith had conducted themselves from the shadows, manipulating galactic affairs for 1,000 years, and now should rule in the open, employing brutal and savage strategies and tactics against any who would oppose them to become a nigh unstoppable order. He would be irritated and enraged about how he discards apprentices, one after the other, with Darth Maul, intended to be his actual Sith apprentice before the rise of the Chosen One, being killed on Obi-Wan Kenobi on Naboo, just as Sidious was killing his own Sith Master in Darth Plagueis, in Night on Naboo, where, during the events of this book, he shot him with tendrils of Force lightning, which dislodged his respirator. Plagueis desperately tried to use the midichlorian to sustain his life, but nevertheless, he perished. He would be irritated further how he discarded Dooku being a well-trained and fully exerted Jedi Master, and now Dark Lord of the Sith Darth Tyrannus. Bane would be appalled by the fact that Sidious would discard such a valuable asset. If Bane had employed Darth Tyrannus as his own apprentice rather than Darth Xana during the age of the Old Republic, in my opinion, then Darth Bane would never have discarded Darth Tyrannus. I believe that Count Dooku was too valuable to Bane in his eyes, and Bane would be infuriated by the prospect that even in his old age, Palpatine would throw away such an important tool that he could manipulate, simply to serve him. So Bane would be appalled not only at Sidious, but Plagueis and Tenebris, who broke the rule of two multiple times. One way or another, he would detest what his order had become and the lineage he established. He would bear hatred for Sidious, due to the fact that Sidious had abolished the entire order that he had sought to achieve. The Sith had waited for a millennia, and now they were still cowering in the shadows, where they possessed the most powerful dark side connection and had the most powerful dark side persona in the galaxy. This was Sidious's main flaw, and the main reason why I believe Darth Bane would have been disgusted if he had come across Sidious in his new reformed galactic empire. Well, my friends, what did you think of this view and the point of view canon when Darth Bane thinking about Darth Sidious? Do you believe and do you think that our opinions co-align? Would Darth Bane despise Sidious to the uttermost core, detesting what his great order had once been and now had formed into? Well, my friends, I bid you farewell. I hope that the rule of true treats you kindly, and I hope you continue to expand your archives by searching the databases of our channel. Goodbye, acolytes, and I'll see you in a galaxy far, far away.